Hi, I'm Lada from Astrolada.com, and today we're going to talk about Rahu and Ketu, or the north and south node of the moon, going into Pisces and Virgo. And this is happening from around October 2015. They're going to stay from October 2015 till around May 2017 for 18 months, year and a half basically, into those two signs. And whenever the north and south node of the moon move into two signs, this is when eclipses start happening in those two signs. And eclipses are signs of big change. Eclipses are signs, eclipses indicate where in your life there are going to be some big, almost karmic changes that are happening, and where you will be in some way letting go of something old and welcoming something new into your life. And I'm going to indicate how you can find out how exactly those the transition and the stay of the south and north node, Rahu and Ketu and Rahu, in Pisces and in Virgo will affect you. First of all, I want you to go to my birth chart calculator. You don't need to know any astrology. Just enter your birth details and enter your time of birth if you know it. And you need to know your time of birth within 10-15 minutes at least correctly, and the place of birth to be able to find out the house cusps. The house cusps show specific areas of life where these energies of transformation and change are going to manifest through those eclipses of Rahu and Ketu. And if you don't know your time of birth, unfortunately we cannot specify those, but you can look at your planets. At the planetary detail table, if you have any planets in Pisces or any planets in Virgo, you will be affected. There will be happening eclipses over your planets. Rahu or Ketu is going to trigger some of your planets, and your planets don't depend on your time of birth. They don't change so much within the day you're born. So first of all, let's look at the planets. Let me first explain how Rahu works, the north node. Rahu and the north node, whenever they transit a planet or a house, it's all about material manifestation of this house, this area of your life, or this planet. And it's all about the more tangible, the more material expression of this quality or of this area in your life. And Rahu, or the north node as we call it in Western astrology, helps that area grow and develop. And you explore new territories, new before untouched territories in these areas of your life. You're willing to be a bit more reckless, more adventurous in that area. You might be fearful because it's a new area. There might be a bit of chaos because when you're doing something you've never done before or something very different, there is chaos and a bit of fear. That's why always eclipses, when they happen there, people get fearful. But actually you're going to have a breakthrough. If you focus your attention at where Rahu is transiting the planet or the house, basically the north node, you're going to have a breakthrough because the universe will support you manifest on the material level and develop that house. So it's more like the green light you're going to have. But, Ketu is a very spiritual influence. Ketu is the south node of the moon. This is our past lives. This is also in astrology is depicted as the dragon's tail, while Rahu, the north node, is the dragon's head. So Rahu takes insatiably. It's a dragon's head that is hungry all the time. It wants to eat everything, take more. While Ketu is the dragon's tail. And so it excretes. So wherever Ketu will transit in your horoscope, your south node, you're going to let go of certain things. Actually, certain things from the past can come, even from past lifetimes, because Ketu is past lifetimes. So you can reevaluate them in some way, and you can detach from them, because Ketu is the tail. It excretes. It has to let go. And it also spiritualizes that part of your life, wherever it's transiting on that planet. It detaches you, it helps you let go, it can bring something from the past so you can let go of it, or somehow detached emotionally from it, and also you can introvert whatever it's transiting. While Rahu, you can extrovert whatever it's transiting. Look for it outside. When Ketu is transiting somewhere, you can only find it within. So let's see. First go to the planetary detail table. Let's see if you have the sun in Virgo or in Pisces. Let's start with Virgo. The sun is your self-identity. Imagine if your sun is in Virgo, then over the next, from October 2015 till May 2017, Rahu will transit at certain point over your sun. So this will be a time when you are manifesting more, when you're becoming, basically when you start shining more, because it's like material manifestation of the sun, when you might take center stage roles in something, where you might even have some promotions, because the sun is our career, our goals, our own authority. So Rahu can help you manifest this on the material level, help you manifest certain goals of yours, grow, expand maybe a business, or grow, expand your authority and influence over people. Or if you want fame, it might be more possible. But also the sun is your career and Rahu is new things, so it might spur you to look for new opportunities, so to diversify in some way your goals and your path in life, because the sun rules the path in life. And so you might have some big changes in your career, maybe for something that is more materially or satisfying on the outer levels, something that is more glamorous even in some way. So, this is how Rahu transiting your sun, the North Node, can manifest. Also, it can develop new relationships with male figures, authority figures of some way. And you have the green light in that direction. Experiment, try. You're gonna rock the boat. You're gonna rock the status with Rahu, because Rahu is crazy, experimentative energy. Doesn't want the old and traditional. But this is what you're exploring. You're exploring new vistas for you in regards to your goals, your direction in life. If you're Virgo, Virgo sun, your relationship with authority figures, father figures, male figures as well. And you can receive support and ask for outer support from such authority male figures. You can receive such more if you're Virgo. What happens if your sun is in Pisces, though? This is where Ketu-the South node will be transiting. People who are born in March, basically, or part of February, they have suns in Pisces. It's about the opposite. This this shining and power and self-esteem, which is the sun, you cannot receive it during those, maybe not during the whole period, but a certain period during those 18 months. You cannot receive it from the outside, like outer accolations and applauses, and you can receive only now, while South Node is transiting your sun, any appraisal and any self-esteem from within yourself. So it introverts your authority. You might have to let go of certain plans and goals, especially, achievement, something that plans that you have, goals or careers, which are outdated, which are no longer productive. So it's all about letting go more of the ego. So a person becomes more humble during such periods. If a person is trying very hard to have a breakthrough in career, to really start something completely new, if you have your sun in Pisces, it might be a bit more difficult. Maybe not the whole period, but certainly there will be a stage during those 18 months that it happens, for a few months at a time, 5-6 months. So there might be, it will be more about introverting your power within, finding self-esteem that is based on on your inner spiritual merit and truth, rather than on your outer achievements, because the sun shows how self-esteem, self-respect you have. It might not be, this self-respect and self-esteem might not be forthcoming from outside, and even it might be sometimes hard to get even promotions, to get those recognitions that the sun is looking for. But you are building a more stronger foundation, and you're letting go of certain outdated things and titles or whatever it is, or goals which are actually blocking your path and development, which are giving you a false sense of confidence. So that's why it's a bit more harder to manifest on the material level, especially your goals and careers. And there might be some kind of detachment from a relationship with a male figure, authority figure in your life as well, or father figure as well. I had this last summer, South Node transiting my sun, and I was so busy with other things that I couldn't actually, I had something like a blockage for 5 months in my career because I had to do other things, and I just couldn't manifest my plans somehow. And the plans that I tried manifesting during that time, they didn't turn out to be, the career plans particularly, because the sun is career, they didn't turn out to be as financially beneficial, let's say. But anyway, I was just giving you an example. So letting go of certain ego attachments, letting go of certain false image of who you are if you're a Pisces, false identifications with your role. So that's why also you might get some kind of a dissatisfaction with the current job position if it's not truthful to yourself. So Ketu there, the South Node, will ask you to let go of that. Okay, what happens if your moon is in Virgo? If you have a moon in Virgo, then Rahu, the North Node, is transiting there. So it means like exploring new emotional relationships. It might be even exploring new places for living, because the moon is your environment where you're living. It might be even Rahu can, on the material level, make you grow your property, or maybe expand your property in some way. Can make you manifest more through material property in some way on the material level. It can make you develop more your emotional relationships, especially with women, with mother. It can create certain changes into the life of important women in your life and mothers, or maybe the wife, because the moon is a feminine energy. These women or female figures in your life, they might be searching for brighter horizons and for experimenting a bit more. It might be a bit unsettling because it's breaking the mold and a bit more taboo behavior. But it's that's what they need to do, and you have to be supportive in that direction. But also you are more willing to experiment with your feelings, because the moon is feelings, to experiment with emotional bondings, to experiment with certain relationships as well. And also your moon is our habits, so you're more willing to break away from old habits and develop. Maybe it's not, the focus is not even going to be on breaking away from old habits. It's like new habits might develop around you, but you become more voracious when Rahu transits the moon. So basically your moon is in Virgo. You become more voracious for emotional experiences. It gets a little bit of a roller coaster. New emotional experiences, new ups and downs, highs. There's definitely that exists. Whoa! Because you just want, you look for your needs, which are emotional needs, from the outside. You start externalizing your needs. So you start looking, and it's a good thing now to, over the next, from October 2015 till May 2017, you'd learn to say and externalize your needs to others, and to say what your needs are rather than hide them within and internalize them, because the moon is what you need to feel emotionally content. And now you're going out and you're saying, okay, I'm going to go after the things that I think will give me satisfaction. And usually those will be material things, because Rahu is a material planet. So you might be going after, more material success in some way. Also popularity can increase as well, because the moon is the public, and Rahu can increase that. It can make you emotionally more reckless, more excitable, more willing to take risks with emotions and with emotional relationships as well. It might rock the boat in certain relationships, but you're there now to explore what your needs are, rather than to take into consideration others' needs. And you're there to find something that makes you happy, because the moon is your inner contentment and happiness. And depends what house your moon is in. If it's in the 7th house, it will be a new relationship. If it's in the 10th house, what makes you happy and what your needs are connected to some authority, to some career. If it's, whatever house it is. But okay, what if it's your moon is in Pisces? In that case, the South Node will transit your moon, and it's more about internalizing feelings. And I have to warn you, sometimes when we internalize feelings, there might be certain depressions. And it's like feelings from the past, even past karmic relationships can come, either as memories or as real presence into your life. Someone from the past, like emotional attachment, to bring the past back to you, because Ketu is past lives. So you can regurgitate it in some way and let go of it. That's what Ketu wants. So Rahu people exploring new things, emotional connections, new habits, new, even on the material level. They try and get their needs fulfilled from the outside, from others, from things, from material things. The moon in Virgo people over the next year, while Rahu is in Virgo. But the Ketu, the moon in Pisces people, they're doing the opposite. They cannot get their needs, emotional needs, met from the outside. Either through emotional bonding, either through close emotional relationships. They might feel like they're closing more and more emotionally. The only way they can find their needs met, the emotional needs, it's through within themselves, through internalizing their feelings, through maybe it's a good time to go to a psychologist to regurgitate old feelings from the past, because it's not like you're not going to fully find emotional support from others, but even if you do, you don't connect to it, and it's not so productive to you. So instead of that, you try and find emotional support within yourself, not in outer things. You're not going to find satisfaction there, and it's not going to be forthcoming. And as I said, it's a very good time when people have, for people in Pisces over the next 18 months from October 2015, to even do some psychological work, some releasing, some go to a therapist. They'll get so much more released emotionally, traumas, psychological hang-ups, difficult emotional memories. They'll be able to release them. They'll have to bring them to the surface. And even past life memories can come to the surface, but they'll be able to release them. And it might be also about releasing something that you feel very comfortable with in your environment. Not only emotional attachments, but maybe a place of living, releasing it and letting go. Maybe certain environment of people that you're used to that you have to let go of. And moon is also your old habit. So you might have a breakthrough with certain addictive emotional, because all addictions comes from unfulfilled or pained emotions, from some traumas. So Ketu can help you let go of those traumas and resolve certain addictions if your moon in Pisces. Okay, if your Venus is in Virgo, Rahu will transit there. Venus is relationship, so it makes you much more experimentative, adventurous in relationship, willing to try new things, maybe even double date, even more willing to cheat sometimes, more willing to break the taboos and to break the conventions of society in regards to relationships, if you're Virgo. Or even a partner might do that to you. So, because Virgo does not always show how you're in relationship, it can show also how your partner is acting. But that's in the worst case scenario. It might mean that you need to diversify your relationship in some way, to find new ways of making it work, because the old ways is just going to feel stale and boring. And Rahu is willing to experiment, whether it's new sex poses, whether it's new way of relating to your partner, doing, new romantic spark in your life. And Venus also rules the material possessions and luxuries, so Rahu can increase that over this period. You can more easily manifest material, luxuries, and like luxury holidays, luxury handbags, luxury or liberous fashion, anything to do with beauty. If you have some business in Venusian themes, like working with women, like counseling and advising is Venus, like beauty, fashion, art, all these things are Venusian, then Rahu can make you manifest more on the material level and achieve more outer recognition in those kind of Venusian business if your Venus is in Virgo. But also, when it comes to relationships, it might be a bit tumultuous because you want to explore, or your partner will want to explore in some way, new territory. So there might be some changes into the life of your partner. So, you need to take this into account, because this is what Rahu is, new adventurous stuff. You might even want to enhance your beauty in some way by enlarging something. What Venus is the physical, the beauty of a person, and Rahu can make Rahu transit Venus. My God, people become so magnetic and sexually attractive because Rahu is this insatiable energy, and it gets more and more Venus. So more and more of beautiful appearance, more and more of making yourself pretty, getting beautiful clothes, of maybe improving your physical appearance. So, all those things can increase while Rahu is transiting your Venus in Virgo. Sometimes even dating a few people, as I said. It's not always. You have to have already in your birth chart indications that you're someone who can do that, or that others can do this to you. Or you can attract a partner who is very Rahu-like, who is material, who is foreigner. Relationships with foreigners can happen for those of you who have Venus in Virgo, or with people who are very racially different, ethnically different, because Rahu is breaking taboo, something different, something that your parents would say, oh my God, look, a beautiful girl is dating a white guy, or someone from a different cultural background, or someone also who is material and materially grasping, more successful in some way. This is what Rahu definitely tends to develop when if your Venus is in Virgo, Rahu definitely will tend to develop more your relationships, relationship status on the material level, and even experimenting in those areas, trying new different things and attracting Rahu-like partners, exotic, different, materially acquisitive, maybe even sometimes from a higher class. Anyway, what happens if Virgo is in Pisces? Then Ketu is there. Ketu spiritualizes your relationships. So your relationship become less sexual. With people in Virgo, Venus in Virgo, their relationships become more sexual over the next 18 months, because Rahu is this external sexual energy. And they want more luxuries, they want more good food, they want more, all of those Venus 5 senses, indulging in the 5 senses, and they get more. With Ketu, it's the opposite. The person, if you have your Venus in Pisces, you might start feeling disinterested towards the worldly entrapments, like good food, good wine, even certain addictive behaviors around food and eating, or around drinking certain things. Let me just check if we have more time. Yes, we have more time. So with Ketu, if your Venus is in Pisces, you tend to become, all these things start losing a little bit of their glamour. All these outer materialistic things, they're not as attractive to you for some reason. If you're more spiritually developed, it comes naturally. So you're a bit withdrawn to a more hermit state, a little bit, maybe not the whole 18 months, maybe for a certain period of a few months. Well, Ketu is very close to your Venus. You socially withdraw a little bit because it feels to you that the social life, which is Venus, is more about vanity, and it's not very profound and deep. So the material expressions of Venus, which is also sexual love, you might even lose interest a little bit in those more sensual side of relationships, and connect to a partner on a more spiritual level, or connect on a more soul level. You can meet someone from a past lifetime now. While Venus is in Virgo, they'll meet someone very new, very exciting, someone probably they've never met in a past lifetime, someone that is very unusual than them. While with Ketu, someone from the past, either past lives, so from the past, can come into your life. Say if you have Venus in Virgo, it might be an old love that appears, so you can see it from a different way and let it go, because Ketu is about letting go as well. And it's about reconciliation. It's about having acceptance and inner peace. By feeling detached towards that thing. So it can help you feel detached towards certain, relationships. Maybe it's not necessary that you would end the relationship or let go of it, but you would detach yourself from certain expectations of that relationships which were giving you grief before. Maybe you would finally accept that this partner that you're with will just give you as much as he's giving you. You're not going to change him, and you, all of a sudden, instead of torturing yourself about that, by the end of this process is finished, you would feel, okay, I'm okay with that. I can live with that. He's like that or she's like that. If you're very unhappy about that, you'd let the person go. But if you still find that there is reason to be with this person, you'll just realize that by the end of this whole process, you've detached from certain expectations you have from this relationship. And it becomes easier, honestly. It becomes easier. You no longer want this person to be like that, or expect them to be like that. It's kind of, when I had this transit, I was in a relationship with someone who only had once a month time for me, because we were in different countries, and he would travel to see me. He could have traveled more often. I was so in love with him when I had Ketu transit Venus. I just realized, if I love him so much, I have to accept him like that. And I accepted him all of a sudden. And within a year from that period, the obsession was no longer there, and I was able to let go of the person as well. Anyway, so this is how Ketu in Venus, and also letting go of certain material, you might have to let go of certain material things, even if you don't want to. If you're more materialistically inclined person, and you have your Venus in Pisces, you might grasp it, or you might not. These kind of luxuries and physical pleasures and sensual physical relationships might not be so forthcoming. The universe might be withholding them from you, because Ketu doesn't manifest on the material level. Ketu makes you look for those things within. So instead of trying to find affection from others, or material acquisitions and luxuries from the world outside, when these are denied to you, you go within and you try to find the inner manifestation of Venus, which is your inner self-worth, trying to find worth within yourself, trying to find self-appreciation, because this is Venus, and self-love within yourself, rather than expecting it from another person. That's how it can work. Let's see if your Mercury is in Virgo. Then Rahu, the North Node, will transit there. And this means that it's a great time to experiment, to explore new interests, new hobbies. This is when people can discover new, information, start communicating more, make new friends, maybe foreign friends, friends that are different than them culturally. You can, Mercury's communications increase. On the material level, Mercury is management, careers with management, with media. So media exposure can increase. Anyone who works with speech, with talking, with writing, the material manifestation in such careers can become more busy, more productive, more exploring new ways of writing, new techniques of making their art, because Mercury rules the skill of the hand, the skill of the mouth, all skills that we've acquired through learning. Mercury develops them, so we can learn new things, you can learn new hobbies, new skills. If your Mercury is in Virgo, while Rahu is transiting there, you might even start learning a new language. I don't know, you might learn a new, I don't know, if you've never driven a car, you can learn to drive a car, to operate the internet, or you might start learning astrology or something like that. So it's more like technical skills, or maybe you start learning public speaking, auto manifestation. Maybe you start writing more for magazines or something like that. Or maybe you have to, if you're working in marketing, in media, in advertising, Mercury is all those things. In administrative work, it gets very busy, and you're exploring new ways and new techniques of doing things, because Mercury is how you do something, the technique, the routines that you have. So this can, make a breakthroughs with some different. If you're a painter, you can start using new techniques and explore new ways. If you have one style of communications, you can try and change it and present in a different way. Or one style of writing, you can start doing something else. This is friends as well, associates and friends is Mercury. So new ones, experimenting, breaking some taboos there. Mercury in Pisces, then Ketu is transiting there. I'm having exactly right now this transit. My Mercury is in Aries. So Ketu is transiting exactly over there. And what happens is that instead of you communicating out there with people all the time, your communications become more introverted. You might become less sociable. Like I'm spending probably 10 days without seeing a single person except my husband for an hour or two at night. I'm not so socially isolated now, but it's by choice that I'm doing it. So your mental processes also become more introverted and deepen. So it can be good for developing your mental skills. Your research ability into certain topics becomes deeper, because researching and learning something more deeply, especially something that you already know, but getting to a deeper understanding about it. This is what people with Pisces Mercuries can acquire can get. They can have some insights, almost spiritual insight, and deeper realization about something they've known or they learned from before. And they can deepen this knowledge, they can deepen this information, but also relying too much on logic and on rational thinking might not be so productive for you, because then Ketu spiritualizes the thinking process a bit. It makes it more intuitive in a sense. So relying more on intuitive realizations is better than trying to follow some systematic plan. And you might be more messy, more disorderly, because Ketu is this headless tail. It doesn't have a head to organize things. And with Mercury is the planet of organization, you might find it hard organizing things, managing things. The practical affairs of things might find a bit more exhausting, a bit more confusing, draining for you. And that's one manifestation. If your Neptune is in Pisces, that will happen over the next year and a half. Also, Mercury is friend, so you might let go or detach from certain friendships. A few of my friends all left to live in different countries over this period, so I didn't even want to detach, but it happened so easily. We just, no breaking up or anything, we just detach and let go of each other. And I thought I was going to miss them a lot, it's going to be too painful, but it just feels natural process. Certain associates might also drift. It might be also a bit of detachment of relationship between you and siblings. I haven't spoken to my brother in a year probably. But anyway, this is how, and it's internalized. This Pisces Neptune, Pisces Mercury over the next year and a half from October 2015 will internalize their social skills, their communicative skills. They'll even start, for example, reading more spiritual books, because Neptune is spiritual. Reading more books which are more abstract in some way, rather than specifically material manifestation, step-by-step rational progress, rational system of how they work. And for example, funny enough, without even noticing, I've been reading 2 books on how to let go, and 2 books about how to stop resisting the mind and release thoughts from it and get like almost becoming detached from the thought process. It's so powerful because Ketu is detachment and Mercury is your thoughts that are constantly on a loop. They're passing like animation all the time. And for the first time in my life, I can actually realize what ancient gurus are saying when they say your thoughts are not your own. Your thoughts are just passing like, leave them there. Your consciousness is the sky, and actually the clouds are your thoughts. And you don't need the clouds to exist. The sky is there. So I'm kind of starting to notice this, to observe my thoughts and detach from them rather than react so strongly to them, thinking that those thoughts are my thoughts and thinking that they define me, who you are. No, they don't define me. Just like the clouds that pass over the sky don't define me and they're not mine. Also thoughts are kind of self-created. And this incessant chat, it's not who I am. So I wanted to give you another example how this can manifest on a more spiritual level. But on a more mundane level, Mercury Pisces people who have difficulty organizing themselves, who have difficulty managing certain things, it's better that they leave certain more practical aspects of their daily environment and routines to someone who is more organized, because Ketu is like a headless, it's kind of losing interest almost in this kind of organizational and orderly stuff. Okay, Mars, what happens if let's see if we have time again. What happens if you have your Mars in Virgo? Then the North Node, Rahu, will be passing over there, so you can develop some outer physical strength, for example. You can develop more self-control, maybe some sports in some way. Maybe you can, because physical manifestation of Mars is physical strength. The outer material manifestation is physical strength. Maybe winning in some competitions, competing. Also, the competition can increase. But your ability to deal and to tackle on competitions also increases. You become more daring there. You become more like, big deal, I'll tackle the competition. But also conflicts can increase because Rahu has this more outer manifesting and grow and kind of making it materialize more. So there might be more conflicts that are happening in your life, but also more a manifestation of your personal strength, of your physical strength, of your competitive strength. Anyone who works in Mars-related professions can have outer successes, which is sports, which is some very competitive business environments, also very martial, which is heavy industries of any kind. Anyone working with any metals, anyone working in engineering, anyone working with anything technological, it's also Mars. They can be having outer manifestations of success. Or anyone working with sharp or dangerous, like firefighters, police people, military people, they can have success with their goals and in outer manifestations. But also, as I said, you might be more likely to attract more aggression, because this is how Rahu develops your own personal strength in the outside, by challenging you, by finding others to challenge you. Some enemy, some arch enemy that comes to your life. So you organize your powers and energy for that. And it can also make you much more initiative, because Rahu manifests on the outer level. Mars is initiative, your own courage to take over, to initiate new things, to start things as well. So it might be good for businesses again, Mars is also relationships sometimes with siblings or with male figures, younger male figures. This can develop in some way. Sexuality, the raw sexuality, you might find yourself much hornier. Maybe not the whole 18 months, but if your Mars is in Virgo, definitely Rahu is this very insatiable energy and Mars is the sexual energy. I don't know, especially if they're in if your Mars is in your 7th house, my God, you'll be sleeping around or having those overpowering animalistic desires almost, but let's not be judgmental here. But if Mars is in your 10th house, you might make great feats of achievements in your career. Maybe some power struggles are likely as well. But on Mars, if it's in your third house, might be some power struggles with siblings or co-mates or workmates, you know. But then you can also push through as well a lot. There might be, as I said, certain small accidents are possible because the person becomes more reckless around that time. So you have to be careful about that, Virgo. And certain explosions, but definitely you're gonna work through and develop a lot how you deal with anger, how you deal with problems, and a lot more things that need fixing come to the surface. Like, because Mars is everything that breaks down that needs to be fixed. Mars is the problem-solving planet. And it's a great planet that we have, because if we didn't have Mars, you know, something breaks down and we break down with it. But when Mars gets triggered by Rahu, things that are not working start coming to the surface, breaking down, like whether it's with cars, with machines, with, you know, certain conflicts, and you need to deal them, but you can tackle them head on, because Rahu helps you do that. Hopefully not in extreme ways. If your Mars is in Pisces and Neptune is there, well, then it's more like detaching from the raw sexual side of life. Maybe letting go of certain over-identification with your sexual animalistic side, which is good. It can be helpful for certain sex addictions if someone has. Or Mars is not being able to initiate so much on the material level, or maybe somehow, maybe not the whole 18 months, but you might feel a little bit more undermined in some of the initiatives you do, as if you're throwing your efforts in the wind, because Ketu disperses, it lets go. So you kind of, the focused effort of Mars gets kind of lost when Ketu transits in its sign, especially when it's 7-8 degrees before, 7-8 degrees after that. So it's not the whole 18 months period, but definitely some period of around 5, 6, 7 months that happens. The outer manifestations in martial careers might be more difficult, like outer successes. And I mentioned already what are the Mars careers when I was talking about Mars in Virgo. And so making it through in that area might be more difficult. Internalizing of anger can happen as well when Mars is with Ketu. So you kind of turn it within, turn it inside. It's good to have some outlet which is not only self-focused in some way, where the anger goes. And yes, so that's overall. Maybe physically you won't be... maybe some conflicts comes to the surface again, even with Ketu transiting the South Node, transiting Mars. But these are usually some old enmities, or it might be even when I had this transit, I had a big, huge argument with my partner. It was the day before my wedding, and I said, "That's it, we're canceling the wedding." And I was like so furious. That was exactly the day of Ketu transiting my Mars, and all of a sudden something happened, something out of the blue. His father almost died, you know, he slipped in the swimming pool. I know it sounds very pompous, but you know, he was an old person, and this immediately helped me let go of the anger. And ever since, I realized how petty our arguments are, and how petty this old pattern of Mars, of arguments that we've had, and we would argue over the smallest thing on the background of so much more important event, how petty it is. So I realized it. So after that, I haven't been arguing in the same way, and I haven't been arguing for such petty things. So you might let go of some outdated modes of what aggravates you, what pushes your buttons, of holding on to your opinion. So both of us, we had to let go of what we thought was right immediately for a higher purpose. So it's almost like a spiritual awakening that Ketu did when it was transiting my Mars, in regards to that holding on to your opinions, which is Mars, and fighting for them is actually so negligible in regards to more important matters, and it's so petty in regards to bigger matters. It's almost deplorable and funny, you know. So you might outgrow certain old resentments, certain old bickerings, certain old modes of, you know, conflict, certain old enmity, but it can intensify initially, and then it can be resolved, because you get like a more spiritual perspective of it. You detach from it. Something happens that shows you the bigger picture, and you detach from it, or you lose interest in it. It might be even hard to follow through with some physical routine exercise, It's not necessary, but it might be like because the outer manifestations of Mars are more difficult. So if you can do instead some more spiritual, more gentle kind of martial activity, which is sport, some more maybe water, or maybe in something rather than too hard, because you might lose interest even in it. You might lose interest in, or feel detached or disinterested in that. Anyway, what happens if your Jupiter is in Virgo? Then Rahu will transit your Jupiter. And then there might be outer development of material abundance more. You experimenting and trying different ways of material abundance, because Jupiter rules prosperity in some way. And prosperity, material finances as well, material abundance. So you can actually, and Jupiter will also transit this sign, Jupiter itself. So people who have their Jupiter in Virgo might have like some financial breakthrough, some financial positive development. On the more spiritual level, Jupiter is belief systems and Rahu is foreign things. So you might start developing interest in foreign belief systems from October 2007. Maybe not immediately from October 2015, but definitely within the period of October 2015 till May 2017, you would have encountered some new culture, some new foreign and belief systems, way of living, because Jupiter rules all those things, the bigger picture, and you have been able to expand your horizons. And actually, it might be a very good time for traveling, for learning something in higher education, because the outer manifestations of Jupiter are more easily forthcoming, for looking into ways to expand your financial fortune as well, into even playing the lottery. Why not? And there might be outer manifestations of Jupiter rules your children overall. There might be a desire to have children all of a sudden. Jupiter is your creativity overall, and children are part of our creativity. And when Rahu transit is there, it can finally trigger a desire in you to have a child, or it might come out, out of the blue as well. Oh, I'm gonna have this soon. And you can, or if you already have children, the life of your children, there might be some big changes happening. These children experimenting with something, trying different things in their life, becoming more grasping for success, or certain adjustments that will be happening into the life of your children. But anyway, what if Jupiter is in Virgo, in Pisces? Then there is a bit more detachment, maybe children leaving the nest, letting go of the detachment, maybe certain detachments, and letting go of old and outdated belief system which you've been disappointed with, or which no longer serve your purpose. Maybe meeting up with some disillusion or some illusion regarding belief systems and releasing those, but definitely very spiritualizing influence, because both Jupiter and Ketu, the South Node, are very spiritual influences. And while Rahu transiting Jupiter, it makes you develop and search into new belief systems, new spiritual systems, but it's more like acquisitive, like you want to gain those knowledge to serve you in some way for success in life, or something. While with Jupiter Ketu, you have more like, without trying, intuitive understandings, intuitive realizations. Maybe some belief systems come from the past to be reevaluated. And it might be a little bit more difficult to manifest on the material level, or you might detach somehow from this desire for outer material prosperity. And you might give more spiritual meaning and understanding to the essence of things rather than to the outer material manifestation only. So you kind of can get more in touch with the intrinsic value, intrinsic spiritual qualities of things rather than the external. If it's with Saturn, if Saturn is in Virgo, what is it? I don't know. I can't think of now. Saturn is your structures. So Rahu makes you develop more discipline. Rahu, it's kind of more difficult, because Rahu, if your Saturn is in Virgo, Rahu will make you develop more structure, more organization, will have to explore some kind of break some old structures as well, and and start doing some newer structures which are more experimentative, which are a bit more different, some breaking through some old traditions as well, which might shock others in some way, but it's okay, you know. And if your Saturn is in Pisces, then South Node transits there. So it's more about detaching from certain material, because Saturn is a very material planet, is boundaries, dissolving certain boundaries, because Saturn is a planet that brings boundaries. While Rahu transiting Saturn makes you develop more boundaries, more structure, new structures, new boundaries. Ketu transiting Saturn, if your Saturn is in Pisces, helps you dissolve certain structures and boundaries, dissolve certain complexes. Actually, this is a pleasant influence because Ketu ends things. So Saturn is our psychological complexes, feelings of inadequacies, feelings of this is not enough, whether it's money, whether it's your physical appearance, whatever it is. Anything that we feel inadequate about, or that we feel shame, or that we feel pain about, these are our psychological complexes, as we say. So Ketu can help you let go of certain of those psychological complexes, certain of those very strict and harsh judgments towards yourself or others, and restrictions in some way. So it can dissolve certain bonds, certain shackles that you're on, because Saturn is also the planet of shackling someone. Okay. Now we have to look quickly through the houses. Don't look at Uranus, Pluto, Neptune, just those 7 planets. What happens if your ascendant, basically, go to the house cast table. If you know your time of birth, house cast table shows you the houses where Rahu or Ketu will manifest. If you have your first house, and you need to know your time of birth, your first house in, let's say Virgo, it's all about independence in the next year and 8 months. It's all about establishing your individuality, and you might have to let go of relationships in some way, because Ketu is in your 7th house of relationships. You might have to make certain sacrifices in relationships so you can focus on yourself, because Rahu is developing your personal power, your personal initiative. The focus is on you. That you should not, maybe even help from others will not be so forthcoming, or the relationships will not be so supportive. They might become a bit more detached, more not disconnected, but a bit more emotionally detached in a sense, because the universe wants you to find power within yourself, to focus on yourself, to develop maybe your physical body as well, muscles, and the material manifestations of Rahu transiting the 1st house. Maybe develop your own goals, your own path in life, rather than relying on a partner. So there might be a partner, if you've been in two codependent relationships, this transit can dissolve this relationship so you can become more independent. And so you don't no longer make compromises with yourself because of a relationship. Or the other thing is that the partner can become less codependent on you, so this allows you to focus more on yourself. Even business partnerships and cooperations with others, you have to not, it sounds a bit selfish, but now you have to focus on yourself, whether it's your physical appearance, whether it's your goals, this is what will develop. This is where you have the green light, is the self. If you have the 2nd house in Virgo, and the 8th house in Pisces, always if your 2nd house is in Virgo, the 8th house will be in Pisces, then you're developing material stability over the next year and a half. Basically, you're creating some financial security. There might be growth of resources and opportunities for material gains in your life, and also you're learning to develop your value system. And not so much depend on others, because 8th house is others, where Ketu is. Not so much depend on resources from others. Certain resources that you've relied on till now, maybe from your husband, from your parents, from the government, might be let go of. They might be dissolved. They might be emptied and no longer forthcoming or accessible, so you can develop your own resourcefulness and ability to manifest materially. But if you focus to do things on your own, you will actually manifest a lot materially as well. And it's like your self-worth is coming from within yourself. Others, if you're looking for validation from others from your self-worth, no, Ketu is there. If you're looking for money from others, if you're looking from gaining from the lottery, no. Now it's about developing how you can manage your own resources and create more from them. And it's also focusing more on your immediate family, the people that you live with. This is the 2nd house. There might be definitely more development there, and in a material level, maybe creating more stability with those people in your life. if your third house is in Virgo and your ninth house is in Pisces, then Rahu is transiting your third house, which is you're gathering information and sharing for the next month and a half. You're experimenting, trying, learning new things, learning new knowledge. Your curiosity develops and you start probing the world for information, verbally, intellectually, anything to do with marketing, business administration. You can manifest it on the material level better on media in some way, writing, speaking, anything which is writing, speaking, and you can attract more teammates to cooperate with. You can attract more associates in some way. This is third house. You can develop the relationship with your siblings and your immediate environment more on the material level. It's good for you to cooperate in small teams of people as well and to associate with others. And it's good for you to learn new things. It's good for you to experiment and rely on logic and on, logic and gathering information and sharing. All professions which are about gathering and sharing information can very much benefit now and financially grow. For example, when I had Rahu there, I did great marketing, but Ketu is about letting go about some blind following, ninth house, following someone, some belief system. Now you have the green light to experiment, but to follow your reason and your logic. This is how you do it. Experiment with things, see if it works, only then bet your horses on it. When Ketu is in the ninth house, it's not about what you believe, because your belief systems, they don't manifest on the physical level now. You are letting go of certain old belief system, and you are developing, you're looking for new information, for new resource, for new information and way of thinking and ways of doing things and new skills that you're developing. Your old belief system are kind of not so, getting a bit more outdated, and at the same time it's very important that you learn to communicate better with people during this time. This is what you develop, better communications with others, listening to others as well, rather than always thinking you're the right one, your belief systems are the right one. There might be some detachment in relationship with ninth house people, which is mentors, letting go of mentors, letting go of figures, paternal figures as well in some way. Okay, but this is definitely a lot about experimenting, trying different things, learning new skills, practical skills, which will help you later. If your North Node is in if Virgo is on your fourth house, let's see how much time we have. Yes, we have enough. If the fourth house cusp from the whole, it's written whose cusp, but it's house cusp. If you see the fourth house cusp in Virgo and the 10th house cusp in Pisces, then during the next year and a half, you have to focus on meeting your emotional needs. It's not important what. Not so important now to have achievements in the world as it is important to put in order your feelings. And you can explore and you can try and bring out your needs there to the surface for others to be aware of, rather than suppress them. And actually, focusing on career, which is Ketu in the 10th house, might be somehow undermining, or it might not be so easy for the things to break through, and your family becomes a source of support and source of growth. So if you have a good family foundation there, and if you're paying good attention to those fourth house and developing it, you can also have success in the career in a sense, because then you'd have fulfilled the Rahu demands. But you might be asked to let go of certain goals or certain career that disappoints you. For example, when my husband had Ketu transiting his 10th house cusp, within a month, he was so disappointed with the company that kept promising him something that he was disillusioned, and he said, okay, I'm letting go of this company. And he found, and basically the reason that he moved was disappointment, and he got a new job. So you can get a new, better position, but usually the reason is not because you are so happy at your place there and you get promoted to a bigger place, but usually there is something that, okay, I'm no longer interested in this kind of line of work or career or path of career, so I'm going to let go of it, and then you can start something new. While because he was basically listening to the fourth house, to his needs. He wasn't feeling his emotional needs were being fulfilled in this career. So he let go of it. And also you can maybe expand your home. If Virgo is in your fourth house, Rahu is transiting there, expand your home, expand your family members, expand your... maybe even benefit from property in some way, buy property and sell it, maybe want to change something in your property. Auto manifestation of fourth house is property as well. Okay, and there might be certain important developments with parents, because this is the parental axis, the fourth and the fifth, maybe more focus on family, maybe certain definitely focus there with parents and family. If Virgo is in your fifth house and Pisces is in your 11th house, in that case, Rahu will transit your fifth house. This can be a good time for getting pregnant. Rahu, fifth house is children. This can be a time when your children somehow make big changes in their life. You can get pregnant, you can give birth with Rahu in the fifth house. If your fifth house is Virgo, you can also, if you have children already, you might have their life might require you that you put more attention, more effort, more outer efforts into their life. If you have lovers, it can be about falling in love, because fifth house is the house of falling in love. The fifth house is the heart chakra. So this feeling of feeling in love. So this can develop definitely on the material level, some very sensual love relationships, can stimulate the heart chakra, the romantic things, and also creativity. Any creative projects can start really blossoming, manifesting in some way. You can get more creative ideas, and even materialize certain creative objects that you've had for a while. You can put them into reality. You can make them happen. And fifth house rules if you have your own business, because fifth house is anything that we've created, nurtured like a baby. And if you have your own business, you can very much develop your business during that time with new creative ideas, even if your business is not creative. Fifth house is the house of performers, artists, people that are on stage, people that want to present something to others and take center stage, like politicians, orators, actors, musicians. You can have a very productive and a year when you can even become famous if you have your fifth house at Virgo, Virgo house cusp, because fifth house is shining. And but on the most normal level, you're developing certain new creative self-expressions, possibly new hobbies that you can develop. New things that you love doing, and new ways of enjoyment and entertaining yourself, even if you're not some kind of artist that is looking for fame. You can become more center stage again in life, and you can shine your light brighter in a sense, and delve deeply into matters of the heart as well, because fifth house is matters of the heart, and be more playful, childlike, take more risks as well, even gambling, some kind of gambling investments. You can be lucky with such things. I wouldn't usually advise people to do that, but when Rahu is in the fifth house with Jupiter in 2016 as well, you can take gambles. These might pay off, and you're cultivating also more personal dignity, self-respect in some way. From the outside, you can get it from the outside, because Rahu is in your fifth house. It externalizes, and you can externalize as well your confidence. You can look more confident, you can look more cocky, you can look more center stage. But then Ketu goes into your 11th house, so it means that you might have to let go of certain friendships, or certain friendship might detach from your life. Certain social group of people that are no longer valid for you, or groups or clubs or whatever, you can let go of them. And certain long-term goals as well, apparently. This is the 11th house. You can let go of. Okay, if you have Virgo in the 6th house cusp, and then Pisces will be in your 12th house cusp, it's definitely about focusing a lot more on practical and material matters over the next year and a half, It's more like you need to pay more attention to detail. You need to become more discriminative. This is what you will do anyway. This is what you develop more. Anything to do with attention to details, with working behind the scenes, with service and work. Sixth house rules your work will be developed. So it can be very good for people in career, people who are craftsmen, who are, who are employed anywhere. You can definitely get much busier, manifest on the material level there. But you have more duties and responsibilities, and you have more things to fix, and they're more practical things. And basically you're focusing on practical matters and also self-improvement. Sixth house is very much about detoxing, about improving the health in some way, exploring new, maybe more foreign ideas about health, but this can bring definitely improvement in how your body functions overall. And duty, discipline are also important. They increase during this period if your sixth house cusp is in Virgo. Your diligence should, increase as well, and you might be asked to be more of service to others, or if you are someone who possesses a business, you can employ more employees, because sixth house rules those that are employed or those you employ. So if you're an employee yourself, you get more work and responsibilities, and might even develop your work in some way. If you're an employee, you employ more people possibly. Or you kind of change something in your routines. You explore new ways of how you do your work, what your routines are, so you can be more effective, more productive in some way. Maybe incorporate new technology as well to make things faster and more effective. Because sixth house is how a system works, how practical, how efficiency, and Rahu there might create some faster efficiency, especially through some kind of a high-tech involvement. And definitely you'll be seeking more to understand details of things, how they work, how they happen, and the mechanics of things, to kind of almost dissect them. What you have to let go of is certain illusions and certain grand visions, because Ketu is in your 12th house, which is like daydreaming and impracticality. You have to let go of those things. And you have to become more specific, more detail-oriented, more practical, And Ketu in the 12th house is about letting go, on the whole. Letting go of letting go. But, okay, let's see. If Rahu is, basically, if Virgo is your 7th house cusp, then Ketu becomes in Pisces. Ketu becomes in your 1st house. So this period will be much more about relationships. You have to focus on relationship, develop them, maybe experiment with new relationship, try and find new relationships. Maybe starting relationship with someone foreign, someone very different than you culturally or ethnically, someone who is Rahu-like, more material, more ambitious. And if you make business partnerships or relationships now, you can have more success through them because Rahu is in your 7th house. You have more green light there. But you're also willing to experiment more through relationships. You're also willing to experiment more through relationships now because you're looking for new ways of expressing relationships. You're looking for new, exciting people that you've probably even never met, or type of relationships you've never had. It might be, sometimes might even give extramarital relationship when Rahu is in the 7th house, because you're in experimentative mode, in breaking taboos mode. It might sometimes give relationships with married people or relationships with someone racially or culturally different. Nowadays, it's not so much of a taboo, but in many places it is still. It's there's something different there about the relationship. You're breaking some molds in relationship. If you're married, maybe you should focus more on your relationship and develop new aspect of this relationships. Otherwise, it might feel a bit boring and you might want to veer off and experiment with other relationships. But if your ascendant is in Pisces and 7th house is in Virgo, definitely you'll be diversifying your relationships, and the best way is to do it by bringing up some fresh new energy and some adventures and excitement into your already existing relationship. And it also makes you kinky and hornier. 7th house is definitely your sex life, the sexual act itself. So Rahu there can increase this desire. But in order, not for you to stray or a partner to stray, make sure that if you're having Virgo in the 7th house, that you develop new aspects of your relationships. And often people who are single can meet someone very important in their life, because there will be eclipses in your 7th house, and Rahu is there about you growing. Someone in your life comes that you can grow through this person a lot. who can bring especially material opportunities to your life, because Rahu is outer manifestations, opportunities for worldly success in some way, or someone who is foreigner, as I said, taboo breaker, climber, social climber, or financial climber. Business relationships also, you can benefit through starting some business relationship or business with someone, because 7th house rules business. Basically any kind of business which is connected to trading, to exchanging one good for another, because it is partnerships there. Business is always about working one-to-one, not always, but most of the time, giving something for something, exchanging, trading. And yes, people in such kind of careers can have more financial success, more popularity as well can grow. People with Rahu transiting the 7th house, because definitely popularity is something that can grow. And also that's another house that I've seen triggered when people can get pregnant, because 7th house is the house of basically of having sex. So, it can lead to something else. So it's, the path of commitment and partnerships you have to walk, but you have to keep the promises in those commitment and partnerships, because Rahu might make you willing to stray from those. You have the green light and you're going to succeed a lot over the next month and a year and a half. If you, rather than doing it on your own, combining with someone or being in a relationship, starting a new relationship or partnership, but you have to keep your promises there. Because if you don't keep your promises there, Rahu can create some big, ups and downs and even breakups and, things like that. And you have to be careful also that not to attract people that are a bit more, because Rahu can sometimes bring people that are a little bit more mischievous, a little bit more sexually excitable. Anyway. Okay. There's the path through success is through cooperation and affinity, but Ketu is in your 1st house if you're Pisces, so it means that you're letting go. You have to make certain compromises and focus towards relationships and partnerships if you want to succeed more over this period, rather than focus on yourself. So you're letting go of certain self-identifications, false beliefs about yourself, false images, false behaviors. And the focus is not so much on you. It's important to remember, with Ketu in the 1st house, others are a source of growth for you. If your Virgo is in the 8th house, Virgo in the 8th house, Pisces in the 2nd house, it is definitely about asking for help from others. Now, don't be afraid to do that. It's actually better to ask for help from others now, because 8th house is other people's resources. And Rahu there, you can develop them. If you're in business with someone, this can bring more financial success again, because this 8th house is other people's financial business. So if you partner with someone, like I partner on my website with astrologers, with psychics, my money depends on other people's money and skills and talents. This is 8th house. So this can give increase, like you can financially see some benefits there, maybe certain material manifestations of inheritances, money from other people, maybe your partner. Interestingly enough, right now I'm having Rahu transiting my 8th house cusp. Rahu is still in Libra, but it's going to go into Virgo. And if you have your 8th house in Virgo, and what happened is that my partner changed job and he's going to have almost double salary than before. So you see benefits from 8th house, from other people's resources. So it does work. I'm waiting for the first salary. Okay. While Ketu is in the 2nd house. So 2nd house is your own resources. If you're trying to do it on your own only, you have to kind of let go of this notion that you can only do it on your own. And Ketu can increase in expenses, your personal expenses for some reason. It might be like you're investing in something that is shared resources or something that you're doing together with another. But because of that, you have to let go of certain of your own resources, of something that your own, material possessions. And when Ketu, if Pisces in your 2nd house, is when Ketu asks you to let go of certain material attachments and certain things that make you feel very secure and stable. So it might ask you to let go of certain possessions. You might even lose certain things, possessions. So amount of money, so you can feel a bit more detached towards it. And so you can turn towards the 8th house, so you can ask for financial support from others, or for joining resources with others in some way rather than do it on your own. Ketu transiting the 2nd house cusp is about kind of almost detaching from things that you feel they're mine. And it's also about not focusing so much on the material, because the 2nd house is the material, the tangible, the physical, but focusing where Rahu is, which is in the 8th house, which is deep, which is transformational, which is emotional, which is like emotional deep bonding. So you're going to realize you're going to have more benefits by focusing on the deeper side of life, on the more intense side of life, which is 8th house, on making some big transformations and letting go of certain possessions, because especially and material attachments that you have. And sometimes becoming less emotionally attached to money when Ketu transits the 2nd house cusp actually might be a good thing, because you know when someone wants something really intensely, how they actually block themselves because they want it, they send this desire, but because they want it so much and they're not getting it, they start feeling like a blockage. And when Ketu detaches you a bit emotionally from certain material, your possessions or financial things, you kind of open yourself for more abundance, and this abundance comes to you from others in some way. So if someone tries to cooperate with you, embrace it. What happens if Virgo falls in your 9th house and then Ketu is in your 3rd house? Well, now it's time to develop your intuition, because Rahu is there. Rahu is what it wants. So maybe explore different, and 9th house rules different cultures. Maybe start friendship with different people from different continents, different races as well. 9th house rules all foreigners. You can, anyone who has business that's involved with foreign countries, with foreign trade, with foreigners in some way, they might develop this business even more. Anyone who is involved in higher education can have material manifestations and kind of more can develop definitely this higher education in some way, pre-qualify in some way. Relationships with mentors and father figures might be a bit up and down, but you might gain a new mentor figure, someone that, it doesn't have to be a teacher necessarily, but definitely someone who can give you new direction, new ideas, new belief system, new meaning into your life, definitely new goals, new directions in some way. For example, when Rahu was transiting my 9th house cusp, I found a new teacher, which was fantastic, astrology teacher. But also it's the father figures, and Rahu kind of wants to resist the status quo, to break the status quo. So there might be certain clashes with such more traditional mentor and authority figures like father or parents. There might be certain clashes there as well. But Ketu is in your 3rd house, so you're supposed to let go of logical analysis won't work for you so much. Relying on logic, relying on always searching to get all the information, always searching to know how something works. It might be wrong. You might make mistakes there, and you might get trapped in indecisiveness. So it's very important to let go of analyzing everything and knowing all the details and learning all the skills. You've gained skills already. And now you have to go and basically when you have to use more your intuition now, because 9th house is your intuition, your trust your intuition and your spiritual intuition, don't use so much the logic as you're using the higher mind in some way, otherwise you get trapped in indecisiveness. Just develop your faith in a sense. If you want to start some big project, some business, instead of waiting to have everything, to know everything, to get all the courses on marketing or whatever, just go with the faith, jump there, because Rahu will help you in that way, rather than having all the steps mapped out. Look for higher education, new spiritual systems get developed, more progressive spiritual systems get developed as well. But you might also get drawn when Rahu is in the 9th house into most charismatic, but maybe not so truthful belief systems. So you have to test You have to trust your intuition, what is right. Okay, when North Node is in Virgo is in your 10th house, then Pisces is in your 4th house, then the North Node transits your 10th house, definitely your career and your authority is going to grow. When I had North Node transiting my 10th house, because I was from working for myself, all of a sudden I started working with another 15 people, so my business grew. So it's time for expanse. If you're Virgo, 10th house cusp, career, you can expand your business, you can grow your career, you can get promotions, you can develop relationship with authority figures, high standing people in society. If Ketu is in your 4th house, it's more like you're foregoing and doing sacrifices of your personal, private life so you can focus more on the career. So you're kind of letting go maybe of your family somehow. You're not so much around your family. You're not paying so much attention to your emotional peace and well-being because you're so focused into the world and into achievements, the 10th house, and you're going to have successes as well. That's great. If Virgo is your 11th house, then Pisces becomes your 5th house. It is all about joining groups of like-minded people. You're going to develop a bigger social circle, maybe new friends, foreign friends, because Rahu is foreign influences. 11th house is your friendships, your social circle. Very unusual social circle. I've never been a group people, joining clubs or groups, but when Rahu transited my 11th house, I joined the group for 1 year. The moment it was out, I left the group after that. I was going twice a week at group meetings. It was like, whoa, that's not me, you know. But yeah, developing groups, connections, making networks of people, interconnections with networks of people. Ketu is in your 5th house, so it's not so much about you individually shining off now. Actually, the group can help you manifest more and your connections to others than you can do it yourself, because 5th house is your own uniqueness and creativity and ability to shine like a celebrity, but Ketu is there, so it kind of gets emptied out, not so much fulfilled materially. So if you want some kind of a breakthrough, you have to rely on, to be in the right social circle. You can climb in the social circle with Rahu in the 11th house. You can go, if you've always wanted to be a member of a club or member of some clique of exclusive people or member of the jet setters or whatever, you can attract such benefactors and friends and slither your way into this kind of a higher social circles when Rahu is in the 11th house. You have to more look at social, global ideas rather than just personal goals during this time, and this happens. So yes, also there might be, 5th house is children, so they might be letting go of a child, attachment to a child going to live somewhere else. Or 5th house is lovers, and I remember when Ketu transited there, I had to let go of a big love. It wasn't easy, but you can let go. Ketu helps you detach. When Virgo is your 12th house, Rahu is your 6th house, then Pisces is your 6th house, then Rahu will be transiting your 12th house, Ketu will be transiting your 6th house. So it's more about finding ways how to escape reality now, finding ways how to spend more, anything. Sometimes it can increase a little bit addictions, this kind of position, but it's all about taking time off. And it doesn't mean you have to take fully the time off during this whole period. But at a certain period you'll need to take a bit of a time off, and don't beat yourself if you're like more geared and feeling to exploring things of escaping reality rather than things of material practical structure. And it's more like your imagination grows a lot, your dreams increase a lot, your because 12th house is a very spiritual house, and Rahu is a very material planet. So going there, what can happen is that you can basically develop more some of those spiritual things, but in a sense you can have more wild, vivid imaginations, dreams. And Ketu in the 6th house makes you a little bit less organized, a little bit less structured, a little bit less tied to routines, and makes you, Rahu in the 12 can make you more intuitive, while Rahu in the 6 can make you less organized on the material level. But anyway, this is your Rahu and Ketu in Virgo and Pisces till 2017 May from 2015 October video. I hope I was managed to cover everything. My God, that's a lot. but I think I was able to. If you have any questions, write to me and subscribe to me, please. Thank you.